look at that because I'm an attorney and I went to law school.
This is a human skull.
I'm throwing up. Broke 23-year-old parent murdering ass
did not murder his parents.
This one's gonna make me pop blood vessel, y'all. Chandler Halderson was a guy, he was about 23 years old, and he wasn't really doing shit. He's sitting around playing video games all day. But guess who didn't know that, but they were somewhat aware? His parents. So Chandler is spinning up all these lies with his parents, saying that he's going to school, saying that he's doing this, you know, oh, his grades this, his grades that. He was just forging all of this paperwork and all of these things. Well, it all culminates into one day when Chandler tells his parents, they basically give him an ultimatum, and he's like, well, actually, guys, guess what? I just got a job at Tesla, and I'm leaving. Moving down to Florida with my girl, and I'm gonna go work at Tesla, so I'm packing up for that move in about 2 or 3 weeks. Chandler never had that job. He didn't have the money to move to Florida either. And after that, his parents went missing, and pieces of them were found all over the city. So now, what we're gonna watch are the prosecution's opening statements, which are about an hour long, but some people said that these are some of the most powerful opening statements from a prosecutor they have ever heard. The evidence against Chandler was airtight, and he really thought he was getting out of this. The prosecutor's statement is almost an hour long. The defense team, her statement is about 10 minutes long. So, I think you guys can understand why, you know, having a good prosecutor or a good defense team, that's what's gonna make or break the case. Alrighty. Let's hop in, boys.
My name is William Brown.
Hi, Will.
I'm the Deputy District Attorney of Dane County.
This guy's approach is like a little bit different. Like most people come up all like strong and authoritative. He just seems like a person. Like I already kind of like him. Like don't get me wrong, I'm a little biased because the comment said he's about to slay this shit, but I like his approach. As a jury member, I'm like, hi, Will.
Everyone was trying to gauge your knowledge of the case, maybe any preconceived notions you had about the criminal justice system.
Okay.
Ms. Vera asked you a lot of questions about what you would think if she did nothing and sat there, and those were good questions.
Is it just me, or I feel safe with him? I feel my shoulders dropping. I'm like ready to listen.
To present evidence, that means to call witnesses. The judge talked about what evidence is. When we think of evidence, sometimes we think of, especially a murder case, you're in a murder case, you think of the gun. And you'll get that. There'll be a gun.
Okay.
You'll see that.
I'm listening,
But evidence
Will.
is so much. When people raise their right hand and they swear to tell the truth, that's evidence. Now you as jurors can decide whether you believe it or not. Do they have anything to gain by what they're saying?
Ooh.
Do they have anything to lose?
Oh, shit.
All those things are up to you.
I love that. Hold on. I really love what he said. I've never thought about that before. And this applies in any conversation. Even those conversations that we have about those narcissists and those crazy people. He said, when somebody makes a statement, you have to ask yourself, do they have anything to lose here? And do they have anything to gain? Do they get to gain your trust? Do you believe them now? Have they calmed you down? Are you more in control? Are you more in compliant with the direction that they want to go? Do they have something to lose in this case? One example of this is when we were watching that Stephanie Sue video and she told something very, very private and personal that happened in her home that she did not need to share, but she did it to reinforce her story. In that, Stephanie had something to lose by saying that. Her privacy, but she chose to do it for the greater good to help her story. So I really love what this prosecutor says, and you can apply that almost to everyday life.
Our job is to, over the course of the next couple of weeks, present evidence.
Mother, we found a
to show
daddy.
you the Chandler Halderson killed his parents, dismembered their bodies, and hid them around southern Wisconsin. We've been talking about Bart and Krista Halderson. You've heard their names mentioned numerous times by the judges.
Bart.
Here.
So Bart Halderson, at one point, when he is incredibly suspicious that his son is just making all this stuff up, because you know what, let's be real. When your kid's a fucking liar, you know that they're a liar. Y'all know when you meet somebody that just be lying about some shit, and it's not a big enough lie that you want to push them on it, and you're like, okay, I'll wait for the big lie, right? When you're a parent of a lying child like Casey Anthony, you know, okay? And Bart Halderson got to a point where he didn't want to deal with his kids' lies anymore. So he had a meeting scheduled with the school, with Chandler, where they were supposed to go up there and talk to the university that he claimed he was enrolled in. He wasn't. And then Bart decides to take matters into his own hands, and he called the school for something a little bit unrelated. He was looking for some confirmations of something. And on the call, and it was like actually a recorded call, it might be somewhere in this case, the school attendant says, "We don't have a student by the name of Chandler Halderson." And then Bart Halderson said, That'll be all. And then he got off of the phone. And then, after that, he went missing. He knew Chandler was lying. He fucking knew, dude.
That's Bart and Krista Halderson. Couple in their early 50s, living in Windsor, Wisconsin. That's the Halderson home. At this point, perhaps it would be best if I told you a little bit about the Halderson family.
Okay. Dude,
Bart,
he's going
the father,
in.
Krista, the mother. They have 2 sons.
Is it just me, or is this like basically Grant Amato Part 2? Like, holy shit, dude.
IT person for a local corporation, doing pretty well in life.
Okay, Mitchell had a job,
He's
brother had a
engaged,
job,
doing pretty well in
engaged.
life. Buying a house, adult things, growing up.
Oh no, what's Chandler
But in
doing?
July of 2021, it's Bart and Krista living in that house, and their adult 23-year-old son, Chandler Halderson, living in his room.
Okay.
Now, all of the events I'm going to describe, for the most part, take place during the first week of July, from the 1st to about the 8th. So I put up a calendar. This is not evidence in the case, I suppose. It might be. Maybe I'll mark it as an exhibit. But it's to provide some reference, and I put the little flag on there, because if you remember this year, the 4th of July was on a Sunday. Everyone celebrated, of course, all weekend. A lot of places celebrated on Saturday. But the 4th of July was on a Sunday. So as I say things up here, what I'm saying is what I expect to prove in the next couple of weeks.
I never thought about this before. So attorneys have to build trust with the jury, right? And they can do this in a myriad of ways. Some people, their approach is to come in and be loud, authoritative, assertive, and say, I'm gonna tell you the facts today. And sometimes that will kind of almost intimidate the jury, like, oh, okay, ooh, here we go. William Brown's approach is he spent the last 5 minutes making us trust him. And what a powerful tool for an attorney to have, like to have this soft sense of trust. Because me and the jury, I'm like, I am eating this up. I am eating this. I'm like so tempted to just see the other one. Okay, we're gonna wait to watch the defense after this, but I don't know how they're gonna follow up. Will is about to give it to us for another 50 minutes. He's gonna show us text messages, security footage. Oh my fucking God. Everyone shut up.
But what I expect to prove beyond any reasonable doubt
Yes, Lord.
is that on July 1st, 2021, somewhere between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m.,
Sorry.
Chandler Halderson murdered his parents.
Take him
It's an
out.
important date, and it's an important time to remember. July 1st, between 3 and 5. But the story doesn't start there. The story starts a week later.
Okay.
On July 7th, 2021, nearly a week after killing his parents,
Bro, he's
but
telling
no
it.
one in the world knowing, Chandler Halderson walks into the Northeast Precinct of the Dane County Sheriff's Office and says, I'd like to file a missing persons report. And he gives a long story. My parents, they just haven't come back from the cabin. They were there this weekend. We have a cabin up north. It's in White Lake, up in Langlade County. It's pretty far up north,
He's always like painting the story, like making it more intimate, like the
They were
details.
going to come back Monday or Tuesday, and I don't know where they are.
That's what he said.
Who were they with? The deputies ask. I don't know. I helped them pack Thursday night. They must have left Friday early
I
before I woke
helped
up
them
at 6.
pack?
Who'd they go with? I don't know. Where are their cars? Well, they're still at the house. What'd you help them pack?
Yeah.
Bottles of liquor, lots of money, tools, silver bars.
What? Oh, come the fuck on. When he said, I helped my parents pack, at 23, we ain't helping our parents pack a damn thing. But, you know, maybe he would have taken the suitcases and put them in the car. Or maybe they would have, like, you know, maybe something like that. But Chandler telling me that he went to the deputy and was like, yeah, my parents asked me to help them pack up a lot of tools, liquor, and money. What is he, just trying to throw a whole bunch of random items in there and confuse the fuck out of them?
They were
Nice
fixing
try,
windows. Some
Chandler.
people there was a plumbing issue,
Oh my God.
storm damage. The story varied.
That's ridiculous.
So sheriff's deputies do what cops do, which is they ask him, have you heard from him? And he says, yeah. I got a text from my mom. And he did. He showed him his phone. Made it safely. This is from Krista Halderson to Chaz. That's what his family calls him. Not Chandler, they call him Chaz.
If in this case, they figure out the phone's location when the text was sent, because they can, all you have to do is triangulate the location, and if they find out that the text was sent from inside of the house, if Will drops that fucking bomb on us in this opening statement, I will shit live on this stream. I know I keep saying that. I gotta stop saying that. Like, that can't be my panic bodily function. Wait, let's look at this. Made it safely, can't get anything through, and yes, it's packed. Going to White Lake today for the parade, home Monday night. Love you lots.
Didn't make a lot of sense. They started talking to coworkers and realized these people had never no-called, no-showed, missed work, which they both did on Friday.
Yeah.
Did they crash their car? Did this other couple kidnap them? Where the hell are they? But what good police do, and what they did in this case, is they start looking into the people who saw them last, who were with them last.
When we go through cases that are in, early 2000s or 2010, and people don't know about, like, tracking email, I don't know what the fuck Chandler was thinking. He was a 23-year-old guy that was pretty internet savvy. There is no trace of his parents booking this cabin. There is no trace of this other couple. And what did he think the story was going to be? That the other couple fucking kidnapped them? What is he going to try to say, that his parents went on a vacation with the Seiferts? Like, I don't know what he thought the story was going to be here.
He saw them
and he
last,
went to the police?
Was with them last, and reported them missing were the same person. It was Chandler Halderson. So what the police did, started to look into Chandler Halderson. This is all occurring in the same 24-hour, 48-hour period.
I said, look at the sun.
And what they learn about him isn't suspicious at all.
Okay.
He's a Madison College student, MATC. They go by Madison College now, if you didn't get the email. Madison College student. He's about to graduate. He's studying renewable resource engineering, kind of a hybrid IT degree with solar panels, things of that sort. He's about to get a certificate. But things had looked bright for him. He'd recently been working at American Family Insurance. He's working from home like most of us the last couple of years.
Okay.
But he's working a good job at American Family Insurance. And not only was he working a good job, Chandler had just gotten a better job. He got hired at SpaceX. He was about to embark on a career that people in the IT field could only dream of.
Guys! This is all we know so far, okay? That's all I've pretty much read about the case. Everything else this prosecutor's about to tell us is whatever came up in the investigation. So, strap in, boys, because I don't know anything else about the case. What the fuck is he about to show us for 40 minutes?
Florida, that's where SpaceX operation is, down in Florida, with his girlfriend.
Is his girlfriend real?
Apartment. They bought a car. And not only was this not someone who was antisocial, he was pro-social. He was working with the Madison Police and the Department of Natural Resources on their rescue diving team. He was a scuba diver, working with the police. The only thing that was a bit odd is he'd recently suffered a head injury.
Okay.
Fallen down the stairs, had terrible concussion, was unable to move for the most part.
Okay.
Had to wear a neck brace.
Okay.
Was permanently, perhaps injured. All of those things threw police off from thinking it was Chandler. He had anything to do with this.
Oh, I thought they thought it was him right away.
As sad as it is, Bart and Krista and an unknown couple were crashed into a ditch somewhere between here and White Lake, Wisconsin, dead from a car crash. So they started looking. Deputies are sent up north. The Langlade County Sheriff's Department is searching a cabin. No one had ever been there. It didn't look like anyone had been there at all in years. It was run down. The grass hadn't been mowed. There was no food in the refrigerator. No one had been there. So the police expand their search, and they start talking to not only just Chandler, people about Chandler. They start talking to people who were with Chandler that weekend.
Oh, my God.
Specifically, they talked to his girl.
Bro, for a second, I was watching this.
Chandler.
I was like, does he have a jewel? I'm like, can he use that in the courtroom?
Good thing I brought my vape.
All right, talk to these friends.
Specifically, they talked to his girlfriend, a young girl named Catherine. She goes by Kat.
Smoke that?
And Kat says, I was with him like all weekend. We had a normal 4th of July weekend. We went out to my family's farm. We got a farm. There was a pool. We ate dinner. Chandler was having the concussion issue, and he couldn't really move his legs, and so he asked to use their pool the next day because he thought that was good therapy.
Okay.
So the police, what do they do next? They go talk to the person who owns the farm. And they say, was Chandler out here? And she goes, yeah, he was out here on the 4th of July.
Okay, this is all checking out.
He showed up the next day by himself. He showed up the next day by himself. I told him he could come back anytime, as we just say to people, not expecting they're gonna roll into your house the next day. She says he was acting bizarre.
He was probably looking for an alibi.
Said that he had a doctor's appointment and they'd given him some bad news that he was gonna lose his job at SpaceX because he couldn't travel, he couldn't attend orientation to start.
So now Chandler's starting to plant excuses to everyone else that thought he was getting this job at SpaceX. Now, what I'm wondering is he at the farm the next day looking for an alibi? Or is he at the farm the next day leaving something out in the field? That's what I want to know.
This woman will testify and she'll tell you that she sat in her house for a while, perhaps a bit weirded out that someone had just shown up at her rural farm. But she let him have his space. But about an hour later, she goes down to the pool to check on him.
He's not there.
He's not there.
He's burying body parts!
Open,
he was never in the pool. He's in the field.
Away from the pool, backed in toward where that grass is a bit longer, and had its hatch up. She thought, boy, that was strange. She thought maybe he's just on a walk.
I'm throwing up.
Then I see Chandler. He's walking out the woods.
Oh
in
my
that area.
fucking God!
Now, at this point in the investigation, the police are out there with this woman. They're out on the farm. Detective Brett Baverstock, who was out there. And he'll tell you that his eyes kind of shifted up. And he's...
I can't believe there's more. Sometimes people do very, very, very bizarre things after committing a crime. There's like a word for this in forensic psychology, but it's basically once you pass that barrier of society and you do something that you are not supposed to do in society, you also start doing other strange things in society. Most of us would know that if you're trying to hide something, don't suspiciously ask to use the pool, not use the pool, and then go into the woods and then try to play it off. I need to watch her testimony.
He saw vultures.
Are we about to watch the whole case?
And I promise the photos are only going to go this far for right now.
What's
but
in
the police
there?
walked about 20 yards into the woods, and in that pile of debris, under dozens of sticks, bushes, and dirt, they found Bart Halderson.
Oh my
Now, when I
God,
say they
you
found
stupid
Bart
piece of
Halderson,
shit. What the fuck?
I need to explain that. They found a human torso.
Oh,
Someone had
fucking
crudely
K.
chopped off the head,
Oh my
the
fucking
arms,
God. Oh my
and
God.
sawed off the legs
Oh my God.
in the middle of the thigh,
Oh my
leaving
God.
the underwear on, and the beginnings of the pants. They removed the sticks and brush over a course of a few hours. They brought out doctors from the medical examiner's office to make sure everything was done appropriately. They rolled the torso over. There were gunshots in the back. This man had been shot in the back and chopped up. At this point, the farm, a beautiful farm, cultivated for years with wildflowers, kind of an Eden of sorts, was turned into a crime scene. Police swarmed the place. Drones were in the air, cadavers, dogs were on the grounds.
After he came out of the
Everyone's looking
woods?
through absolutely everything they could, but it's a farm. There's a million places things could be. But one detective said, look at that in the woods. Is that a garbage can full of a tarp?
Lord
It
have
was.
fucking
I'll tell you,
mercy.
that tarp was taken to the Wisconsin State Crime Lab eventually. Bart Halderson, Krista Halderson, their blood is all over it. Another detective said, that spot where Chandler was walking out of the woods, there's an oil barrel there, like an old fuel tank with a hole in it. That's right where the car was parked. So she peeks her head in. And that's what she sees. Broken saw blades.
Okay.
and saw us.
Chat, he's guilty, right? I mean, I can fucking not. Just for curiosity's sake, I need to see 2 seconds of the defense's statement. Like, I just need to know, I just need 2 fucking seconds of her. How do you follow that up? For you guys that aren't super familiar with court cases, the prosecution, that's the attorney for the state that's trying to put Chandler Halderson away for the murder of his parents. The defense is probably this, legal free defense or something like that because Chandler didn't have any money. Let me just see 2 seconds of hers and then we'll go back to Will. Like, how can she defend that so far? Like, come on, I need to know. Ma'am?
Chandler Halderson.
Catherine, you cannot be, did y'all hear that? Hold on.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents.
All right, guys, case closed.
But wait, there's more.
She had to take a deep breath before she even said that. Did y'all hear it? God, please forgive me. Please forgive me for what I'm about to say. I am working and I am blessed to be an attorney in the United States, so please fucking forgive me for what I'm about to say. Chandler Halderson did not kill his parents. Okay, I said it. Let me just get to the next part. Let me just oh my God, dude. I don't know how she did it. She said, Lord.
Bring him downtown.
They have to see. Okay.
But they ask him, and he's at the house, and they ask him and his girlfriend.
His girlfriend is
Come
real.
downtown.
Who is she? Hold on. Kat? Is she a former girlfriend? Okay. Good news, everyone. She left him. Oh, and she testified against him. Oh, and she's fine. Oh, poor girl. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Or Kat, in the other room.
Kat, dude.
She's vomiting information to the police.
I thought he was about to say she was just straight up throwing up. Shit. I would be for sure. I think most people would leave their significant other if they were pretty sure that they had murdered, especially murdered their parents. If he can kill his parents, he doesn't give a shit about you. Okay, let's just be real here. Or, bro, can you imagine that happens, then your girl stays with you, unknowingly dating a hybrid-ophiliac that was just waiting for somebody to snap? I don't trust those bitches.
Vomiting at times. But also vomiting information in terms of she has her phone out. She's giving him pictures. She's providing every single detail she can because she will tell you when she testifies.
Let's go, Kat!
She's one of these people that watches these crime shows. And she knows when someone's missing, you got to exclude the people closest to him first. And she thought,
hey,
that's what we got to do. Chandler didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't have anything to do with this. We got to get to the people who did. And the first step is we got to exclude us.
She thought she was helping him.
That Mr. Halderson had done anything wrong.
Oh my
God.
God.
She was with him most of the weekend. And I'll tell you right now.
Oh my God.
Kat did nothing wrong.
Now, before this continues, let's just burn that phrase into our brain. Kat did nothing wrong. Legitimately believed her boyfriend at the time. And then afterwards, when she realized that he really did it, broke up with him, gave all the information. Kat did nothing wrong, okay?
And she'll tell you, she liked Mr. and Mrs. Halderson.
Oh my God.
There were the normal disputes you'd have with your boyfriend or girlfriend's parents. Maybe you want to go out a lot and they don't let you. Maybe you want to hang out more than they don't want to. But she liked him.
Okay.
Her phone is full of messages between her and Mrs. Halderson. Friendly in all respects. Kat meets with police not just once, but multiple times. And in one of these meetings, she says, you know what was weird? Is this weekend, when I was with Chandler, while his parents were at the cabin, I left the house early one day, on Saturday, in fact, Saturday, July 3rd. And she says, he told me he was going to do chores that morning around the house. But when I looked at my Snapchat, I saw his location was in a weird spot. If you don't know.
It's 2022, y'all. It is 2022, baby. Is it just me? Or are y'all starting to feel like Chandler is one of the dumbest fucking people we have ever covered? Now look, if you take the life of somebody else for any reason, especially for your own selfish needs, you are a fucking idiot. Period. You're a fucking idiot. You are so fucking stupid. You are so dumb. You know, the other thing here too, what tells me that Chandler's relationship with his parents wasn't bad. They were not bad parents. He was just a liar and he got caught in his lie because his girlfriend liked his parents and had a relationship with them, and she had no idea that he would dislike his parents enough to kill them. They treated him well. Like, that's so evident in Kat's surprise towards this case.
And she goes, it was so weird where he was. I took a screenshot of it on my phone.
Oh my fucking God!
And that's what it showed. Chandler has saved this hubby in her phone. It's perhaps a term of endearment between two folks dating in their 20s. But she said, at 8:58 in the morning, when he was supposed to be doing chores on Saturday, July 3rd, I thought it was strange that he was in what appears to be a forest
This is
on the banks of
unreal.
Wisconsin. The drones go up, the dogs go out, the search team starts searching.
I'm gonna throw up, like from excitement. Sometimes people will be like, you know, BOZE, you're watching a murder trial. Somebody died. Why are you so excited? Why are you so happy? Because I fucking love justice, okay? This is an entire category of people. People that as a child, early in life, teenage years, whatever, experience some major form of injustice or multiple forms of injustice. Sometimes you can't articulate it into words, but you're like, damn, that wasn't right. And when it happens to you over and over and over again, you become like me and you fucking love justice. You love seeing people that think that they're fucking smart, not get away with it, and get caught red-handed like this. I am hungry for justice! I am hungry and excited for justice, and I hope that people think that I always give due respect to the victims, okay? Look, I feel like I always be fighting for people. I'm still mad about the Amatos. I'm still mad about it. Chad was a good dad. You ain't gonna tell me otherwise. No wonder my neighbors hate me.
They find the remains of Krista Halderson. Now, when I say Krista Halderson, I have to qualify that as well. We found her legs. One complete leg, then somewhat farther away in another bush, a foot, a thigh, but the same pattern.
The other issue I have is clearly the man doesn't care about anybody but his fucking self. He's lying to his girlfriend, tricking his girlfriend. You murdered people and then you plan to lie to your girlfriend for the rest of your relationship. And on top of that, let me just say this. If I am 40, 50 years old and I work my ass off to buy a house on a farm and I have acres of land and a pool, and I can leisurely spend my Saturday in my pool, and your broke 23-year-old parent murdering ass is gonna come up here and dump body parts on my property, what kind of fucking, how fucked do you have to be in the head? Like, this is like 70 levels of fucked. It's insane. Like, he's entitled to do anything on this earth when he has done it. I can't. This one's gonna make me pop blood vessel, y'all.
Chandler really liked this location out on the Wisconsin River. He'd go there all the time. It's where he'd go swimming. When his friends came into town, that was the secret swimming spot. And one friend even said, you know what? Last year he sent me a picture while he was out there.
Dude, look. This guy is such a good storyteller. I need you guys to watch how quickly the judge snaps his neck to look at the evidence as soon as Will mentions he's about to present something else. Because you guys have seen these cases before. Sometimes the judge just doesn't give a fuck. We just wait. Watch this shit.
Last year he sent me a picture while he was out there. Shirtless, hanging from a tree with a machete. I don't know.
Bro, my man said, oh, a picture.
Shouldn't come to anyone's surprise. At some point, Chandler was arrested. In fact, he was arrested on July 8th, 2021. When you're arrested for a lot of crimes, you go to jail, you get booked in, and not much more happens investigation-wise after
Dude,
that.
they got his
But of
interrogation.
course, that's not the case in a murder investigation.
They got his
especially
interrogation,
something like
don't
this.
they?
So Chandler's taken to jail, and the police start searching. When I say searching, you're going to hear about searches of the house, searches of this farm, searches of this property. You're going to hear about searches of landfills and ponds and ditches all across Dane County. But one of the things they started searching was, what was this guy doing on his phone that weekend? And oddly enough, most of what they found was nothing.
Fortnite cheat codes.
Either Chandler hadn't Googled anything all weekend, except for the 8th, or he had deleted his search history.
Which we can
We'll never know.
recover.
But remember, he was arrested on July 8th, taken to the police station, and that's where they told him, hey man, we know what's going on. So meaning, while he was still on his phone on July 8th, he was still telling everyone his parents were missing. Not just the police. This kid was standing in his front lawn giving media interviews to all the local media outlets about the cabin and the unknown couple and the unknown car. He was going door to door in his neighborhood. My parents are missing. Can you help me out? Do you have any security cameras, by the way?
He
You'll hear
wanted
from
to
these
know.
neighbors. Some of them were so weirded out by what was going on.
Chandler's a weird guy. This is the guiltiest man in the entire channel. This is it. We might have to watch the whole fucking Chandler Halderson case. We might just do the statements tonight, but we might have to do the whole goddamn thing, dude. I'm gonna have a breakdown. Chandler, you were no match for this world.
Mr. Halderson. But while he's doing this that morning, what's he Googling? This is what he's Googling.
Guys.
Body found, Wisconsin. Woman's body found, Wisconsin. Wisconsin dismembered body found. We'll come back to the next two. Dead body found in Wisconsin. Body found in Milwaukee River. He's searching for whether they found his parents. And you'll hear in this case, he's starting to search because he's starting to get worried because the amount of police in his neighborhood has been ramping up and up and up. Because unbeknownst to him, they're finding his parents' remains. And you'll hear that while this is going on, while he's Googling these things, he's frantically calling police officers. Hey, why are there more cops in my neighborhood? Calls this guy, Brian Shunk. He records him.
Oh
What's
my
going
God,
on?
everyone thinks he did
There's
it.
more. State versus Peter Capuzzo. Probably means nothing to everyone. It meant nothing to me when I
Okay.
first saw it.
Okay.
The name rung a bell, and I wondered why. Not only does it show he Googled State versus Peter Capuzzo, it showed that he clicked on a link on the Wisconsin court's website and read something. What he read was a legal case, much like this one is the State versus Chandler Halderson. The State versus Peter Capuzzo, though, was a case that made it to the Court of Appeals based on some legal technicalities
Okay. What's the
About
case?
a
What's
man.
the case?
who dismembered part of his family
Okay.
and threw their bodies in the river.
I don't
So
understand.
at the same time, Chandler Halderson is going door to door in his neighborhood, crying about his parents being missing, talking to the local news, telling sheriff's deputies, signing documents saying they're missing. He's conducting legal research to get himself out of today.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents.
Now, when I started with that calendar a while ago, and I said the police were initially thrown off because of one thing, and that was this text message from Krista. And it's real. I'll tell you that text
The
message.
text is coming
is
from
in all the
inside the
search warrant
house.
returns from U.S. Cellular.
Bro, if I was Chandler's attorney, I would have been calling out objection at every single line. I would have been holding on to some. I would have been like, let me do something. Let me shoot my shot. I'm just as panicked as her right now. I'm getting that secondhand panic right now, looking at because they went first. The prosecutor.
Sent on the 4th of July. So the police started looking into that. And the first thing they found was White Lake. The parade was on July 3rd. Remember, the 4th of July this year was on a Sunday. So everyone celebrated on Saturday. So they started thinking, well, how the hell did this message get sent? So they searched the Halderson home, where Chandler was. And in the garage, under a shelf, in a shoe, wrapped in aluminum foil, was his mother's phone, along with her driver's license. All of you probably have cell phones. At any time, your phone is pinging off of different cell towers. It's not always the same. As you sit here, half of you might be using one tower and half of you might be using another. It's based on the workload of those towers. You'll hear about that. But it's generally an approximate area of where you are. That message on July 4th, Krista there's in pink, Chandler's in green. The message was sent from the Halderson home on July 4th.
Oh my God. Oh
Chandler
my
sent it to
God.
himself.
These are the locations of the phone. Can we just convict him from the opening statement?
How does this kid, with everything in the world going for him,
here it comes.
promising new jobs, school, a girlfriend that loves him, willing to move
Here it
across the country
comes.
for him, or even physically, a kid who just suffered this major concussion, was unable to use his legs for the most part. How does this happen? And what you'll learn, it happens because none of these things are true. He wasn't going to Madison College.
Oh my God, he did not. He made the.
He wasn't studying renewable resource
He
engineering.
made
The people at American Family Insurance, they'd never even heard of him.
the animated transitions.
There's no indication he had ever even applied for a job, much less had any job at SpaceX.
I'm gonna throw up.
The apartment he told his girlfriend he'd rented and the car he'd bought, none of that was real.
No.
The Madison police, they don't even have a scuba diving team. Neither does the DNR. And this concussion he apparently suffered, he did go to the hospital. You'll hear from the doctor who was there. He said, yeah, he came in, he reported that he hit his head, falling down the stairs. I diagnosed him with a mild concussion, gave him a neck brace on the way out, told him he could use it if he needed it. But none of the things that Chandler reported to other people, the leg weakness, his inability to move, drive, travel, none of that was real.
He planned to just get out of this
Given
as a
what we're
victim.
gonna find out.
It sounds like he told all of these lies to his girlfriend as well. And so, but his parents knew for a fact these things were all untrue. But he was going to try to ride it out with his girlfriend and just say, sorry, babe, I got a concussion. My future is going to change. Please take care of me. And it sounds like Kat was a really nice person that was going to believe him.
How are you able to keep this up? How are you able to catfish your family, your girlfriend,
Catfish.
your
Oh,
brother,
I guess he did.
your friends?
I guess he did.
They started to find things around the Halderson home in the email accounts of Bart and Krista Halderson, in the email accounts of Chandler Halderson.
I want to see his face too.
When they talk about American Family Insurance, the first big lie Chandler was making up, again, the people at American Family Insurance, you'll hear them testify. They're directors of human resources. You never
Jesus
worked there.
Christ.
Never worked for
Jesus
any of the
Christ. They got
affiliates.
HR to
Never worked for
testify
any of the
against him.
companies that are associated with them. Chandler had been claiming to work there for a year. But he never had any money. And his father was an accountant, so his father would ask him questions pretty much daily. Why don't you have any money? Why haven't you paid any rent? And Chandler spun an amazing web of lies. First it was, well, I'm a salary guy, but they were accidentally paying me hourly, so they just held my paychecks until they fixed it. Then it was, well, I gave them the wrong direct deposit info.
Oh my God.
Then it kind of shifted eventually. And he said, well, they were going to pay me, but now the amount is so much, they got to pay me so much money that when they deposited it in the bank, they thought it was fake. And police started to find emails like this. This from Tom Selznick, a guy at American Family Insurance, a Northeast remote human resources guy.
Oh, he was faking the emails to show his dad.
Describing this. You're registered as salary, but you're making hourly. And these emails would go back and forth with Chandler and the HR person, and eventually he'd forward them to his father. But in the way a parent looks at their child as maybe telling the truth is not the way that you as jurors have to look at this. You, like the police, maybe have to take a more critical look at emails like this.
I want to read the
And
emails.
for one, notice, why is the guy who works at Human Resources at American Family Insurance using a Proton Mail generic email address?
What's Proton?
Why is the guy who's the Human Resources manager spelling the word resources wrong,
Jesus.
saying he's the Human Recourses manager? Now here's where the story gets maybe a little more complex. Having a fake job solves a lot of riddles in your life. No one's hassling you to get a new job. No one's hassling you to do chores all day. The problem is, if your dad works from home, if he was an accountant, for instance, which he was, and which he did, you actually have to wake up early every day and go to work.
Oh my God. Okay.
So there he was. Messages between Bart and Chandler. Hey, are you up for your meetings? Yeah. Over and over again. So Chandler woke up.
He was
But he had
waking
nothing
up
to do all day because
early?
his job was pretend. And so he sat on his computer playing video games. And I'm not against people playing video games. I'm a
Where's it
guy
going?
myself.
Give us a
People play
space. There
video
he
games.
is. There he
But
is.
video games, if you don't know, and some of you are of an age where you do, and some of you are an age where you don't, are a much more social thing than they used to be. When you play video games, you don't just sit on Nintendo 64 and play Mario by yourself. You're playing role-player games with people from around the world.
Okay, and?
And who's up early in the morning?
People in
Mr.
Europe.
Halderson had to wake up to attend his fake work meetings. People in the military who are stationed overseas.
Okay.
They speak English.
Okay, what the
They're
fuck?
American.
What the fuck is about to happen?
But they're on a different time schedule. They're on his time schedule. Most people here probably play video games at night during weekdays.
Okay.
But every day, Mr. Halderson was able to wake up and find a group of friends to play video games with online, one of which was stationed in Germany.
If he testifies.
This friend was a guy named Andrew Smith.
Okay, Andrew.
Now, Mr. Smith, Mr. Halderson became kind of best friends.
Oh my God.
They would talk all the time. They communicated in this video game all the time. And Mr. Smith, he'll testify. He's
Dude,
coming
I'm
up
getting
here,
stressed. I was about to ask to hit his vape, but
lives
it's a
down
clicker.
south. He's back in the US. He'll tell you that Chandler really liked an SKS rifle when they play some of these shooting games. It was just something he liked. Not a big deal. There's nothing wrong with that. But this past summer, about a month before the murders of Bart and Krista Halderson,
Don't tell me he bought one.
this online friend, Andrew Smith,
Don't tell me he bought
comes to visit Mr. Halderson
one. Really?
and expects stays at the home with Bart and Krista.
Oh.
This is a picture of Mr. Smith in that perhaps crudely designed yellow shirt. That's Mr. Halderson. It's the only
Okay.
photo we have of them on that visit.
Okay.
You'll learn that Mr. Smith had gotten out of the military. He was done with it. But you'll also learn that he really likes guns. Like, he really likes
Well,
guns.
okay, come on, Mr. Smith, help us out.
And he knew his friend liked SKS rifles. So when he visited him this year in June,
Don't tell me he gave him a
he
gun.
brought with him a gift. The SKS rifle that was found about 100 yards from Bart Halderson's body.
Oh
Now,
my God.
you'll meet Mr. Smith, and you'll probably concur with me after meeting him. He's not really probably a paperwork kind of guy. And so when he gave the gun to Mr. Halderson, he wanted to document that he transferred the gun, that he wasn't going to fill out any paperwork. So he just took the serial number of the gun, he put Mr. Halderson's driver's license next to it, and snapped a picture on his phone.
Jesus fucking Christ. Why does
But that's
everyone
serial
have
number.
him in
It's the
4K?
gun.
I killed her. Here's the weapon, and cuff me, thank you very much.
At this point, if I'm Chandler, I'm just gonna start thinking about, like, what gang do I want to join? Like, who's gonna protect me? Am I gonna be in solitary, or am I gonna be out in the rec yard? Like, how are we even gonna do the rest of the trial? How?
Despite maybe his bizarre actions and maybe his bizarre statements he may make, he's not a suspect. Police proved he was in Texas at the time all of this happened. Another unknowing accomplice to Mr. Halderson's crimes. So at this point, Mr. Halderson's working a pretend job at American Family Insurance. He's not getting paid. His father, who's an accountant, is kind of on his case about it. And he's got to figure out something else. And the best way out of your pretend job is an even more pretend job.
Jesus Christ.
So around May going into June of this past year, American Family wasn't going well. So Mr. Halderson decided to get a new job. He's going to be an astronaut. I work at SpaceX.
You're kidding me.
This is messages to his girlfriend.
You're kidding me.
I have a good feeling about SpaceX.
You're
I have a
kidding me.
follow-up interview for Florida tomorrow.
You're kidding me. I'm gonna pass out. I feel like, am I talking enough in this too? I feel like I've spoken quite a bit tonight, but like, I feel like normally I don't know how to shut the fuck up, but like here, I am happy to shut the fuck up and listen because I cannot believe this.
That presented with it one major problem, which was that job, which was also make-believe, would pay absolutely no better than the last job that was make-believe. So in late June, as he's supposed to start the job at SpaceX in Florida for Elon Musk, something happens in the Halderson family, something real. There's a change.
Okay. Something real.
Remember when I started off and I said there were 2 sons? His older brother gets hospitalized. That's real. It happened.
Okay.
Got diagnosed with diabetes and was having some complications. He's doing great now. Mr. Halderson uses that as an excuse to delay starting at SpaceX. It was a stroke of good luck for him, a stroke of bad luck, of course, for the family, but a stroke of good luck for him.
Okay. Dude, the judge is listening. Y'all see
So
the
his
judge?
brother, engaged, house, real job, making a lot of money,
Judges are so
suddenly he's
funny.
in the hospital being doted over by his family, by his mother. People care about him.
Music.
So roughly a week later, when Chandler Halderson needs to think of a new lie to get out of the SpaceX lie, guess who ends up in the hospital?
Jesus.
Being doted over by his mother and his family with a supposed neck injury. This is Father's Day of this year.
Oh my God, is that
In
his...
late June.
Is that Bart?
That's Bart Halderson in the middle.
Oh my
Mitchell on the
God.
right. Of course, Chandler wearing a neck brace that no one told him he had to wear.
Dude, this little piece of shit right here. When people get to the point of murder, especially to hide something, they think about it pretty regularly. It could be weeks, it could be months, and the thought that he could have even thought of killing his father while he's sitting here in this fake-ass neck brace, standing right next to him while his dad is smiling, is so fucked up to me.
Now, around this time, Chandler started telling people an extraordinarily bizarre set of claims. That he had a brain bleed, a hematoma, that he had spinal damage, that he needed his head drilled open, that he had inability to use his legs at all. Couldn't drive. People had to do that for him. That he had nerve damage, that he needed to get a colostomy bag. But most importantly, he couldn't go to Florida. The doctors had told him he couldn't fly. Of course, that's not true. You'll see his medical records and you'll see his doctor testify. So suddenly this man, who was, for all intents and purposes, disabled, was being doted over by his family. People were making him meals. You'll see notes his mom was leaving for him.
Oh
Call
my
this neighbor if you need anything.
God.
She'll help you out.
His parents loved him. They just wanted him to stop
couldn't
fucking
work,
lying.
Couldn't do chores. Now, a bit of a preview and a fast forward. This guy who's wearing a neck brace nearly every day in late June 2021 would have no problem just days later carrying large bags of ice out of gas stations to chill his father's cut-up body.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And you'll note, no neck brace. And in fact, you'll note in this case, Chandler Halderson has never seen a neck brace again after July 1st, 2021, when he kills his parents. So the job lies are over for Chandler in his life. American Family Insurance, don't worry about that because he got this new job at SpaceX. In SpaceX, I can't go because I'm hurt. It was a perfect scenario.
I need to see Kat's testimony.
But there was one last
Oh my
lie
God.
that Chandler had to get out of. And that is he had told everyone he was going to MATC for college and that he was about to graduate. And you'll hear there's a hint of truth to that he was going there at one point. In fact, there's a hint of truth to all of these lies. He did go to MATC for like a semester. He failed out. But he wasn't going there anymore. And the parents were starting to grow suspicious. And we knew this because when we searched the house, we started to find notes on Bart Halderson's desk. Bart Halderson was one of these guys who prints his emails. I don't know if any of you print your emails, but some people, they get an email and they print it out. That was Bart.
Dude, wait.
We find one.
He printed all of Chandler's
It's an
crazy.
email between Bart and Krista,
Okay.
detailing a conversation that he had had with Chandler's advisors at MATC.
I told you guys about this. Oh my God.
Supposed to meet with someone else, so we met with this guy, Daniel Spieth. Chandler's gonna get a solar certificate. He wasn't. He's registered for fall classes. He wasn't. He's in the IT program. He wasn't.
Who did he talk to?
All of these things, line by line. None of them true. But Bart Halderson talked to this person. So police honed in on something. That line. When I talked to the advisor, he sounds just like Chaz on the phone. And he gives this number. That is, of course, because Bart Halderson, when he talked to Chandler's college advisor, was just talking to Chandler.
Okay.
Who had bought a burner phone.
One in the chat, if you guys think that Chandler thinks that he's really smart and legitimately thought he was getting away with all of this, 2 in the chat if you guys think this guy was just dumb and was just throwing everything at the wall. In both of, if 1 or 2, he's dumb, but I can't tell if he thinks that he's smart and gaming the system with all of this, because this is nuts. If I was trying to trick my parents, I wouldn't have the balls to put on a fake accent. Like, okay, hold on. Let me try to think, like, what is my fake college admissions, like, person? Like, okay, what do they even say on the phone? Hi, BOZE's mom. It fucking sounds like me!
The lie about going to MATC or Madison College was the most extensive. There were emails, dozens, if not hundreds of emails going back and forth between supposed advisors at MATC and Chandler, and then he'd forward them to his dad from people like someone named Alyssa Brandt, 64. Sometimes Chandler would spell Brandt, B-R-A-N-D-T, sometimes just with a T and no D, depending on the day.
I think he's dumb.
But they all had the @Gmail address, not @madisoncollege.edu. And you'll hear from the people at Madison College, their people have real emails. They don't use Gmail. But it was over and over again. Alyssa Brandt was one of them. You heard about Daniel Spieth, also @Gmail. There was someone named Aaron Hoover, also @Gmail. In this one, Chandler's getting upset. I have to have a call with whomever's in charge within the next 30 minutes. I have been a student for over 3 years, and I will be treated fairly.
Oh,
of course, he's yelling at
my
himself.
God.
All of these were fake. Back and forth to himself, and eventually to his dad. The Halderson parents had to have been growing extraordinarily frustrated. Kid wasn't getting paid. He was injured suddenly. His college transcripts aren't coming through, so he can't get a job. So police looked at that original note again. They saw something interesting. In this sea of fake people,
How does it get
Daniel
worse?
Spieth, Aaron Hoover, Tom Selznick,
Deborah.
Alyssa Brandt, there was one name that stood out, Omar Job. And that name didn't stand out because it was fake.
Okay.
It stood out to the police because it was real. That is the only real person on any of these emails.
Okay.
And what we've discovered in this investigation is in just the day and a half prior to being murdered, Bart Halderson, Chandler's dad, called MATC and pretended to be Chandler to try to finally get some information on what's going on.
Oh my God, Bart said, okay, Chandler, you gonna play that game? I can play this game too. Oh my fucking God. Chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good has this opening statement been? This is honestly a solid 10 for me. The evidence is overwhelming. The trust that he built early is insane. The storytelling is fantastic. The attention to detail. I mean, it's just like, this is a God mode prosecution opening statement. Woo!
Bart called MATC, said, I'm Chandler, and I want some answers. And for 17 minutes, Bart Halderson, just before his murder, talked to a man named Omar Job. Omar Job is a entry-level customer service guy at MATC. He's got no skin in the game.
Jesus.
Doesn't even really remember the call.
Jesus.
But it was recorded for customer service purposes.
I told you guys it was recorded!
And Bart Halderson questions Omar, and he's very mean at first. Because in his mind, he'd been getting screwed around for a year on where his son's transcripts were and what degree program he was in and why he hasn't graduated yet. But toward the end of the call, Bart asks Omar Job, hey, do any of these people work there?
Dude, this
Alyssa Brandt, Daniel Spieth, Aaron Hoover. And he's told no, they've never worked there.
Oh my God.
In fact, they haven't.
Oh my God.
And he says, that'll be it then. That'll be it then, are the last recorded words of Bart Halderson alive.
He found out. He found out. He found out. He found out.
Bart Halderson, shortly after that, sends a text message. Text message that ultimately sealed his fate, which was a text to his own son. And it says, I spoke with Omar Job.
He knows.
Now, what happens over the next 24 or so hours is a bit unknown. Homicide investigations are a lot of unknowns because the two people
Oh my
who are the
God.
victims, who maybe know the
It was
most about what happened,
3:30.
are, of course, dead.
Oh,
But there's not much verifiable information that happens over the next 24 hours. It's also unknown if Chandler even knew who Omar Job was. Of course, he wasn't going to MATC, so why would he know who some lowly entry-level customer service guy was?
Oh my God, guys.
But Bart Halderson did. And when you look at Bart Halderson's work calendar that he maintains at his accounting firm, you see something quite interesting. Remember at the beginning, I said I wanted you to remember a date and a time, which was that the Haldersons were killed between 3 and 5 p.m. on July 1st, 2021. Guess what was on Bart's calendar at that exact time? He was supposed to have a meeting with the people at MATC with his son. So he's supposed to go to MATC and have this meeting at 3 o'clock on July 1st, 2021. Of course, that meeting couldn't happen because he wasn't going there and none of the people were real, but Bart Halderson knew that. Bart Halderson knew that. And so Chandler had obviously figured that out at this point. There was no way out of this one. You can't get out of this lie. And so the next day, Chandler Halderson wakes up on July 1st and starts messaging his girlfriend. 7:26, I hardly slept. 7:27, stuff hasn't been going well for me lately. Just trying to plan for the next thing to fuck me over. 7:51, I had a great future planned.
Was it the day
It's
after?
falling apart. 1:04, just 2 hours prior to the murders.
Trying to set up the alibi for his parents.
They might go to the cabin with their friends, but I don't know. So somewhat of a full circle at this point, that's the moment Chandler Halderson decides to kill his parents and engage in this bizarre story of them missing at a cabin with an unknown couple in an unknown car at 1:04, July 1st. Now, shortly after this message, just about an hour and 10 minutes,
Dude, I want to know.
Bart Halderson's getting ready to go to MATC for this meeting. Perhaps to confront Chandler. Perhaps Chandler's going to confront him. Bart texts Chandler, I'm ready whenever you are.
Oh, I thought that he had already
That's
done
about
it.
50 minutes prior to when he was killed.
Oh my God, dude.
Those are the last words ever recorded of Bart Halderson. His phone is never used, really. I mean, again, he dies at some point. He never goes back to work. No one ever sees him. The neighborhood he lives in, riddled with security cameras, never see him again. I'm ready whenever you are.
Jesus
What the
Christ.
evidence will...
Maybe Chandler had a plan for what he was going to do. Oh, the meeting was canceled, maybe this. But when Bart took things into his own hands and found out that none of those people were real, he was just wondering what bullshit his son was going to spin up next.
What the evidence will show in this case is that sometime after the I'm ready whenever you are message, and probably just around 3 o'clock when he was supposed to go to this meeting with MATC, Bart Halderson was shot in the back multiple times with a high-powered rifle. And after shooting his dad, Chandler texts his mom. Dad's phone died. Text her, call me. And get soda on your way home. I have an extra hour of work.
Get soda?
You know he didn't have an extra hour of work.
How many of you guys could literally just text your parents and say, you can call me. By the way, get soda. I gotta keep working. I haven't gotten paid in 6 months, Mom. And I know you guys haven't heard about my transcripts, but pick me up some Dr. Pepper. I could never text my mom, give me some soda, bitch.
Move things
She'd be
around.
like, why don't you have some water and add some pepper
What he
to
was
it?
about to do when she showed up. She responds, "K, I can," smiley face. Those are the last words of Krista Halderson.
Krista!
Shortly thereafter, around just after 5, neighborhood security cameras, the Haldersons didn't have one, but the neighborhood, a lot of people did, show Krista pulling in, getting out of the car, walking in. She's never seen again until her legs are found out by the Wisconsin River. But just after killing his mom and his dad, the evidence in this case will show that Chandler went on his phone. If you go on your phone, I don't know if any of you have ever taken a note. You can take notes on your phone. The iPhone has an app called Notes. We got some raw data, and I'll put it up here in a second. I won't put the raw data because it's a bit challenging to see. But Chandler creates a note about 5:11 that day on July 1st, probably minutes after killing his parents.
Oh my
And
God.
the note reads,
Oh my God.
"Weekend chores, H2O2 lemon." H2O2 is the chemical name for hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
You'll hear from people in this case, it's essentially a household cleaner to clean up blood. Lemon, it deodorizes things. Mixed together, it's a pretty cheap cleaning product. You can have it home.
Weekend chores. Apple iCloud backup data from Note. He probably deleted this note after them, and he just thought, I can't fucking believe this. I cannot fucking believe this. He put his murder cleanup to-do list 3 hours after the murder on his Apple Notes and then just tried to delete it.
Fucking stupid.
Cleaned the house as best he could, and you'll hear about that. But still, blood spatter found of Bart and Krista's blood around the house. And he had a plan. It wasn't a well-thought-out plan, but he had one. And that was he was going to burn the remains in the family fireplace there in the house. So it's July 1st. And if any of you remember, 4th of July weekend's pretty hot this year. People in the neighborhood thought it was a little bit weird that so much fireplace was going on. They smelled stuff. One person, this neighborhood's full of retired cops, but one retired cop said, I smelled like a barbecue, smelled like a pig roast. And he said that just not knowing what it was at the time.
Do you guys know why, if you burn a human body, why the smell is so distinct? It's actually a similar reason why it's so hard to dismember a body. You guys have probably heard this before. You have to cut through bone, tendon, joints, and all of that. It is incredibly hard to get rid of a body because you're not supposed to fucking do it. You're not supposed to take an action that makes you have to get rid of a body. You're not supposed to fucking kill anybody. It's hard to kill people because you're not supposed to fucking do it. If you try to burn a body, the smell is going to be so unique, it's going to be so poisonous, and people are going to remember it.
That he was looking at in that camera footage that kind of just piqued his attention was the window by the fireplace. And for many hours over the course of that night, the light flickered, came on, died down, on, down. But in the early morning hours the next day, he'd been up all night doing this. Because you'll learn, you really can't burn human remains. Your home fireplace is not going to get hot enough to do that. It takes an extraordinary amount of heat. If you go to like a crematorium, you're inducing it with oxygen, chemicals, not a residential fireplace. But eventually, in the middle of the night, the fire started going well. It appeared that air was being pumped into it, and you'll see when they searched the Halderson home, there was in fact a fan found right next to the fireplace.
Jesus Christ.
Next to a tape measure, trying to make sure the remains were the right size as they went into the fireplace. But that light at one point grew and grew and grew, and it got very bright in one room. And then all of a sudden the kitchen light came on, and then all the lights went out.
The neighbor noticed all of this.
Or dumped hot water on your windshield on your car in the winter. But it explodes the glass. The evidence in this case will show that what happened was the fire had gotten out of control, burning these human remains. Human fat was rendering out. It was igniting. So Chandler threw water on it.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Oh my fucking God. I'm sorry.
Water on your residential fireplace.
You don't put water on a grease fire?
That's exactly
oh my God, dude.
Just above that broken glass panel, which is clearly shattered, you see the paint kind of bubbled off from the heat. This is in the search of the home some week later. Fireplace is clearly used. The police noticed something interesting about this photograph, which is, despite being clearly used, the logs are rebuilt. Someone had cleaned out all the ashes and rebuilt it. Clean logs, newspaper, one burnt piece in the middle. But what stuck out to police right away was that little rock right there. This is a human skull.
Okay.
He had burned his parents' heads.
Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God.
Later,
oh
the
my
police
fucking
would
God. Oh my
go
fucking
through the
God.
ash trap of that fireplace, and they would find human remains.
Oh my fucking God.
Facial bones, the knee bones, which, because we found Krista's legs, by deduction, had to be Bart. All in the ash trap of that fireplace. They were all cataloged. Now, burnt remains can't be tested for DNA. There's no biological material left. But they're able to tell it's human based on the structure of the bone. And you'll hear from the anthropologist who will talk about that.
Imagine being the defense attorney that has to go up there on the stand and argue that that was not the skull of the two people that we're talking about in this case, so it doesn't matter. Because that's all they can do, you know? Even if that was your job as a defense attorney, imagine having to say or do that. Jesus Christ. Now, we're going to launch the defense's opening statement where Catherine Dorrell has to prove to us that Chandler didn't do it through all of that. And she must have some shocking evidence to uncover, considering she's only going to talk for 10 minutes.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents. He is not guilty of those crimes. Chandler Halderson is 23 years old, young man. He likes to play video games, play with his dogs, hang out with his girlfriend.
This is Chandler's face after Will just destroyed him with that opening statement. The man is in shambles right now. Come on, Catherine.
He was just a normal kid. He is a normal kid. So what did happen? What happened to the Haldersons? What happened in that Haldersons' home? Remember those questions. They won't be answered.
Well, that's crazy because I feel like I just found out what happened from that guy.
When you have to decide whether the state has proven to you that Chandler Halderson killed his parents, because they simply don't know what happened. They just told you what they think happened.
Oh my God.
We heard a lot of detail of the before and a lot of detail of the after. But one or two simple sentences, and then he killed his parents. The evidence will show you that there is a gap of evidence when it comes to that time frame.
Let's cut Catherine some slack here. I'm trying not to say too much because Catherine has a job to do. And unfortunately, her job today is to defend Chandler Halderson. And one thing now that I almost want to give Catherine credit for is she only made this statement 10 minutes long. Catherine said, I'm not letting this motherfucker ruin my career. Because she sounds like she doesn't want to defend him.
Story. The role of being a juror is a different role than being a person. And that may sound strange, but it is.
Oh, Catherine!
I think of when I went to law school way back in 1991, and there's a big part of me that feels I went into law school a human being who lived my life feeling things emotionally and relating to things emotionally. And I left law school a really different person. I learned how to be very logical, to apply facts, first to assemble facts, and then to apply these facts to the law as I learned it.
I just want to pick Catherine up and take her out of this courtroom. It's hard for me to fathom that, she graduated law school back in the early 90s, and she's probably been practicing law for 20 or 30 years. I know she's had some killer cases. I know they're in there, and this is not one of them. Catherine was handed a bad hand of cards. I think Will is going to take this one. Somebody said in chat, the camera just cuts to her, and it's like, hey, that's me, Catherine. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation. 10 years ago, I became a public defender for the state, and...
Your job is to presume that Chandler Halderson is innocent because he today is under the benefit of the presumption.
I just want like a supercut of her saying some of these things that are just not about the case, and it's just like when your client did it.
We must presume him innocent.
This is, okay, I don't want to put this back on Catherine particularly, but this is just the technique that you have to go to when you have nothing. And what is it? It's basically just gaslighting, right? Because what she's doing is we all just heard the timeline of events. We heard the evidence that the attorney provided that he's willing to back up with testimony, witnesses, and, emails, phone calls recorded by neighbors, photos of Chandler Halderson at the crime scene. And now what Catherine is doing as a defense attorney is saying, you don't know anything. You don't know how the court system works, but I do, because I've been here since 91. And your job is not to listen to that story. Your job as the juror is to listen to the law and the facts and make sure that these things are guided by the law. And I'm an attorney, so that's what her thing is, right? It's basically saying you don't know, despite everything you just heard and saw with your own eyes, you don't know anything. It's like her tactic is just to make you question yourself and your role in the legal system and kind of bow to her authority in the legal system. And I mean, it's all she's got.
Keep that presumption unless and until the state proves every element of every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not easy. It's not easy in a high-profile case. It's not easy in a case where we all know we're going to see evidence that is disturbing. But you must find a way, like I did in law school,
Today, you are going to see these two people who were just living and breathing months ago, and you are going to see horrifying photos of their bodies chopped up and dismembered by their own child that they birthed and raised. But don't look at that, because I'm an attorney and I went to law school.
You're going to notice that many of the facts, many of the witnesses, aren't going to be hotly contested by the defense in this case.
She said, I got nothing.
You're going to know some about the before. You're going to know some about the after. But you're not going to know what happened.
Girl, the before and after is pretty heavy.
Who did it? What happened? How it went down? Whether it was intentional or not, which is an element of homicide.
You know what else is an element of homicide? Chandler walking out of the woods and then the police finding the bodies of his parents in the woods and somebody taking a picture of him walking out of the woods. I mean, I don't know.
You're also gonna not know how Bart and Krista would have reacted to these lies. That's never going to be explained to you. Why lying turns into murder, or how lying turns into murder.
It is interesting to me how we often let liars get away with it because we don't want to press them on things too much. You know, we don't want to have the uncomfortable conversation. But we teach them to continue to lie, and then they have no other tools, and then when they get to a breaking point and their lies are uncovered, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to say, I'm sorry. They don't know how to say, I was wrong. They don't know how to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to do better and take action.
Objectivity may be hard for people in this case because of the graphic nature of what you've just been told or what you're going to see. But you need to resist losing that objectivity.
Dude,
Commit to being jurors. Dispassionate,
Commit to
logical.
being jurors. Fall in line, jurors. Just sit there and be compliant. This is what everyone wants of us. They want us to all be compliant and sit in line and listen to some authority figure that is going to tell us everything and act like we have no individualism. I hate that shit. I highly encourage individualism, critical thinking, and individualistic thinking. Please continue to do so. All right, I can't do it anymore. Catherine, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck in the case. Spoiler alert, he's guilty.
Look at that. Look at that. No shit.